This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Mid-season outlook. And what we aim to do is break down all 32 teams in the National Football League, division by division, get you up to speed on where these teams came from, where they are now, and where they could potentially be going in the 2014 season as we've reached the midpoint. We've saved the worst for last. The NFC South, surprisingly enough, has been the worst division in all of football. Nobody saw it coming, including myself. And so let's start with the best of the worst, the New Orleans Saints. They currently lead this division with a record of 4-5, and I thought they had a golden opportunity in Week 10 to separate themselves from the rest of this division after that huge win on the road against Carolina in Week number 9 on Thursday Night Football. You thought they were going to use that momentum to propel them to a victory versus the fledgling 49ers. Their season on life support got a chance to flatline them. They let the 49ers escape with the W. Their season is still alive, and the Saints are now back under 500 at 4-5. So how did this team get to 4-5, you ask? I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, turnovers. Drew Brees isn't his sharpest this season. We've seen him turn the football over before in past seasons. He's doing it again. He's averaging over a turnover per game this season, and that's something he's going to have to clean up. He's been making some questionable decisions like the one he made right before the half, and throwing to triple coverage to Jimmy Graham, picked off by Chris Culliver. Can't do that, and he knows better than that. And so there's some questionable decisions being made by Drew Brees right now. Cost you a game against Detroit when he throws that pick late in the game. Got to be better. We know that this guy can play at an MVP-like level. Just need him to step his game up a little bit. Adjustments, I think you had to make some adjustments early on this season. Life without Darren Sproles is rough. Ask Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers when he first left to come to New Orleans. Life without Darren Sproles. You can sit here and tell me about Tavares Cadet and Kyrie Robinson, and even Pierre Thomas filling in that role. There's not another player in this league quite like Mighty Mike. You're not replacing him with any one individual. And so that hurts. That stung. Drew Brees loved using Darren Sproles out of the backfield. He was a safety valve. He's no longer there. So you can see why these interception numbers have spiked a little bit, because you take more risk when you're not throwing the ball to a guy like Darren Sproles or handing it to him out of the backfield. And also, Jarius Byrd coming onto this team I thought was a huge adjustment for the defense. You tried to kind of set things up to make him comfortable and make him fit in with what you were doing a season ago, and it did not work. We'll talk about the defense a little bit more later on, but this team is -8 in the turnover differential right now. Normally, -8 is reserved for 2-7 teams at this point of the season. 3-6 teams at this point of the season. This Saints team is lucky to be 4-5 with a -8 turnover differential. That's why I said the Eagles, who are -10 in the turnover differential, have to be one of the most fortunate teams in the league, because you don't get to be 6-2 when you have a -10, and you don't get to be 4-5 usually when you're at -8 in the turnover differential. The defense started slow this season, and I talked about Jarius Byrd coming on board. This was a defense that got it done last year, and to see him come on board and to see this team struggle, I think there is a direct correlation. You can say what you want, but I think Jarius Byrd was holding this defense back. He struggled early on in the season. You gave up 37 in Week 1 to Atlanta, which I expected you to be in a shootout with them Week 1 in Atlanta. But 26 against Cleveland next week, didn't see that one coming in a loss. Week 4, Dallas, 38, didn't see that coming. 31 to Tampa Bay in Week 5, my goodness, at home nonetheless. Didn't see that coming either. Too many points given up to some bad teams that struggle to score points. So you go in the bye week, Jarius Byrd is out for the rest of the season, and voila, everything's fixed. Defense comes back with way more intensity. This team is playing much better on the defensive side of football. You can't tell me that that's a coincidence that Jarius Byrd gets injured and is no longer in the lineup, and all of a sudden the defense starts playing better. Okay, you may get it, you may not get it, but you understand where I'm coming from. So now, you look at this team and their body of work, 3-1 at home. You'd like to see that extended out to 7-1, because home field advantage is supposed to mean something for the Saints. 49ers gave you your first home loss of the season. 1-4 on the road. We know about the struggles of this Saints team on the road. It's been chronicled. They're going to have to get over that if they're going to make any kind of headway in the NFC. 2-1 in the division. This is a bad division. You need to clean up this division. 4-2. 5-1 is what you need to finish in this division. And you've already got some of your toughest games in the division out of the way. At Atlanta, at Carolina, both done. So you got to feel good about that. Conference record 4-4. It's solid. That's average. You want to be better than average. You got to play better down the stretch within the conference. You look at this remaining slate. Home for Cincinnati, home for Baltimore. So you're going through the whole gamut of the AFC, North, as you're home for Cincinnati, home for Baltimore, and then at Pittsburgh. So you're taking a tour through the AFC North. Then you're home for Carolina, at Chicago, home for Atlanta, finish up the season at Tampa Bay. That's a very winnable schedule, especially with a lot of home games. You've got 4 home games of your final 7. 4 of them are in the comfy confines of the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Got to take advantage of that if you are the New Orleans Saints. You are going to win this division if you just take care of business. This division is putrid. You're the best of this bunch. Take care of business, and you will be NFC South champions in 2014. You move on to the second place team in this division. Currently, it's the team that won this division last year, the Carolina Panthers. In nearly the bottom third of every defensive statistical category sits the Carolina Panthers. And what a long fall from grace it has been for these Panthers over the last year. And I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't see this one coming. I'd be lying, because I called this in the preseason, I called this in the offseason, and there were a lot of Carolina Panthers fans who were upset at me. But I told them that I had seen this movie before. It was called the 2013 Washington Redskins. I'd seen this unfold right before my very eyes the year prior. And I said, everything that you've done in this offseason reeks of what the Redskins went through a season ago. And it pains me to say this, but I said, you're a 6-win team. Panthers right now at the midseason point have 3 wins. Half of 6 is 3. They're on pace for 6 wins this season. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I saw this coming, but, I had one guy even get mad at me and say, how can you say you know the future? You don't know the future. He got mad at me. I was like, hey, don't point the finger at me. I'm just the messenger. Don't kill me, man. Don't shoot me. I'm the messenger. And so you look at this defense, and to me, they're the biggest problem right now, because this team was predicated on defense a season ago. No Greg Hardy. We know the story there, and that's a huge part of why they're struggling. But they also lost some key members of their defense a season ago. You can sit and laugh at Captain Munderland and Mike Mitchell, but they made a difference on this football team. And I said I didn't like the fact that those guys didn't command a lot of money out in the free agent market. You could have had them back for pennies on the dollar, and you let them walk away. And you replace them with some guys that are subpar football players, and you're getting subpar results. You look at this Panthers football team right now, negative 59-point differential is the 4th worst in the NFC. So you're not scoring enough points offensively, and you're giving up way too many on the defensive side of football. Just to give it some perspective, 236 points given up by this Panthers defense this year. It's the 5th worst in the NFC. And you only gave up 241 points the entire season last year. So that just gives you a little bit of framework and a reference as to how bad you are this season defensively. You're not getting it done. You're going to clobber that mark that you set last year for yourself. And you look at the offense, and they're not doing enough to help out this putrid defense right now. And the problem I have with the offense, and I said this in the offseason, is there's not enough around Cam Newton. The offense right now is all Cam Newton. And so the Panthers organization, the front office, went up to Cam Newton and said, so you say you Superman, huh? You really Superman. You take the cape off and it's an S on your chest, huh? Okay, well, prove it. You want this deal? Prove it. Prove you're Superman, man. So they've asked the man to go out and lead the team in passing, which he should. He's a starting quarterback. The man is 6 yards away from leading the team in rushing. Keep in mind, the man has some busted ribs, coming off of ankle surgery, messed up thumb, and I bet you if you ask Cam Newton off the record, he's probably got 3 or 4 other injuries that he's hiding from everybody else. The man is a battered and bruised man, yet he is doing everything he can for this team. It's still not enough. He needs help, and Kelvin Benjamin and Greg Olsen aren't enough. And so this team right now has left Cam Newton out high and dry, and he's got to do everything himself, and it's frustrating to watch. It really is. And so you look at this team, 2-3 at home, 1-2-1 on the road, 1-1 in the division, 3-3 in the conference. There's still hope for this team to win this division. As bad as it pains me to say that because they've played such bad football this year. The fact that anybody in this division is even going to get a ticket to the dance outside of New Orleans frustrates me because I think New Orleans is going to right the ship. But to even have to fix my lips to say that this team deserves to go to the playoffs if they win the division is maddening. But here's what they got left. And it starts tonight. Monday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles on the road. You want to make a statement. You want to show everybody that you're not dead yet. Stick your hand up through the dirt and say, I'm not dead yet. This is your opportunity at Philadelphia tonight, Week 10, to close out Week 10 on Monday Night Football. Got to get it done. Home for Atlanta. Then you got a bye week, which if you can find a way to win these last 2 games before you bye, hey, all bets are off then. You can clean and wipe the slate, and you can come back a different football team after that bye. But if you lose these 2 games, I don't care what you do on the bye week, you're done. So you come off the bye at Minnesota, at New Orleans. Woo! That's a tough one. Versus Tampa Bay at home. Home for Cleveland, at Atlanta. That's a doable schedule. If you just can get some wins, if you can get this team to respond, that's a doable schedule. Why can't you win 5 out of your final 7 games, get to a respectable number like 8-7-1 and win the division? It could happen. The Saints aren't trying to run away with this thing. I'm just saying that there's a chance, but you've got to be willing to take advantage of all opportunities, ALL, all opportunities that come your way. You move on to the 3rd place team in this division, the Atlanta Falcons. Now we find ourselves talking about the 3rd place team in this division, the 3-6 Atlanta Falcons. And I feel like a parent who is sick and tired of saying the same old thing to their child over and over again. You keep telling them the same thing over and over again, and it's just not sticking. And at this point now, you're so frustrated about the same thing over and over that you just take your belt off. You're tired of talking, you're going to let the belt do the talking for you. That's how I feel about this Atlanta Falcons team. You just get sick and tired about talking about the defense each and every single season. It's like, you're going to fix it this year, right? Mike Smith's like, yeah, I'm going to fix it, man. I'm a defensive guy. It's what I do. I do defense. I'm going to fix this. Okay, Mike, fix it, man. Fix it. Nope. The same old Falcons, man. The same old stinking ass dirty birds on defense. 34 to New Orleans in week 1. 41 to Minnesota. I could spot Minnesota 38 points and they still won't score 41. And yet you give up 41 to Teddy Bridgewater in his rookie season in his first game, no less. Damn, how did you do that? Don't ask them. They don't know. 30 points to the Giants. They're struggling to score points. Have been all season long. You give up 30 to the Giants. 27 to the Bears. Did you see what the Bears did? Did you see the Bears piss their pants last night? And you give up 27 to them at the crib. I don't know. Stop asking. I don't know the answer. And Baltimore scores 29. They've struggled to score points just as well. So, look, that's been the story of the Falcons. The offense is still solid. Still a solid group. We'll get to them in a second, but let's keep talking about this bad defense. 238 points surrendered, 4th most in the NFC. And they just can't seem to get off the field defensively enough to give the offense a chance. Because I just mentioned this, the offense is still good in Atlanta. I mean, you got Julio Jones, you got Roddy White, you got Matt Ryan pulling the trigger, you still got targets, okay? You got Ace Boogie, every time he touches it, he goes to the house. Antone Smith. Look, you've got weapons offensively. You just got to get stops defensively so they can get the football back and have opportunities. So you look at this team, and the offense is still good, but the problem with me with the offense is it's inconsistent. It's not the offense that we used to know and love that we could rely on week in and week out. Yeah, look, Falcons going to put up 30 this week. I know that for a fact. Is the defense giving up 33? That's the question. Offense going to put up 30. You got games like Cincinnati, you scored 10. Chicago, 13 at home? What? Detroit, you scored 21 in the first half. You don't score another point, you lose the game. I mean, those are the type of games where you just scratch your head and say, what the hell is going on with this team? 2-2 at home, 1-4 on the road, 3-0 in the division, 3-4 in the conference. Once again, all solid marks with the exception of that 1-4 road mark. I mean, look, 3-0 in the division. If you can clean up the division, you're not out of this. It pains me to say this, but you're not out of this division at 3-6. Because nobody wants to win. So you could win this by default. Just take care of business. Let's look at this remaining slate. At Carolina, home for Cleveland, home for Arizona, at Green Bay, home for Pittsburgh, at New Orleans, home for Carolina. That's tough football. For a team that struggles with consistency both offensively and defensively, you've probably got the toughest remaining schedule of all these teams in this division. So what I say to you is, good luck. You're going to need it. And really, you don't need to go anywhere because your defense isn't good enough. Your offense is too inconsistent. But hey, who am I to tell you you can't go dancing and go to the dance and get a ticket? If the rest of this division doesn't want to go, somebody's got to go, right? Why not you? I don't know. I still think New Orleans is going to win this division. Hey, what do I know, right? Right? Right. So we move on to the last place team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ouch. What happens when you study for an exam all off season? You know all the material inside and out. You feel really good. You're like, man, go ahead and give me this test. I'm ready. I'm going to kill this test. And you get the test and you look at it and you're like, what is this? And all the material that you studied was the wrong thing, man. You didn't study for the right test. Good luck. That's what happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2014. They studied all offseason. They went out. They dumped all of the spare parts that they didn't need. They got rid of all the dead weight. The best thing they've done all season was get rid of Mike Williams. Everything else has been a failed experiment to this point. I mean, you look at what Jason Light and Lovie Smith did. They came in. They got rid of all the stuff. They gutted this offensive line. You know, got rid of just about everybody on this line. Jeremy Sutai. They got rid of Donald Penn. They got rid of Davin Joseph. They got rid of everybody on the offensive line. They said, all right, we're starting fresh. We're starting brand new. You know, they gut everything on this team essentially, and they get rid of all the dead weight, and they say, all right, no Revis. Forget about that guy. We don't need him. And they started all over. Start brand new and fresh. Brand new canvas, bringing all the stuff that they deem necessary. And what has happened? It's probably one of the biggest surprises in all of the National Football League this season. And the inability of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get out of their own way and to get anything right for that matter. And I mean, when you study for the test all season like they did, you expect them to get some of the questions right. But when it's a different test than what you expected, I guess you have no choice but to get all the answers wrong. I mean, Michael Johnson, you thought he was a 10-sack guy. You studied all offseason. And your research says he's a 10-sack guy. Wrong. He's a 4-sack guy. I tried to warn you before you signed him for all that money. How many sacks does he have at the midpoint of the season? 2. Half of 4 is what? 2. So he's right on pace to do what he's supposed to do. Get your 4 sacks. You wasted your money. I didn't want to tell you that when you were signing the man on the dotted line. I tried to warn you before you put the man to that ink. Now, you look at some of the other moves you made. Josh McCown, a career backup. And you want, look, I know, Lovey, you go back to him with the Chicago days. I get it, but come on, dude. So, all in all, you've had opportunities this year. You've dropped the ball. And the home losses to bad teams is the thing that sticks out to me. You lose to Carolina with a backup. You let dirty Derek Anderson come and take a crap in your backyard. St. Louis comes in with a third stringer. You let Austin Davis get his first career win. And then you let Minnesota come in here and beat you. And they're struggling on the road and you let them beat you. So you just can't get right at the crib. Your negative 105 point differential, by far the worst in the NFC, your third worst in the entire National Football League. And so you can't score points. You're not stopping teams from scoring points. We had the whole Glennon versus Josh McCown debate. It's apples to oranges. Neither have played that well, but Glennon gives you the best opportunity to win. I venture to say that if he would have started to begin the season, you probably wouldn't be sitting at 1-8 right now. But look, that's irrelevant. It's a moot point. This team isn't very good. You're 0-5 at home, 1-3 on the road, 0-4 in the division, 0-6 in the conference. Josh McCown was about to cry at the press conference yesterday. Basically, what you need to do at season's end is figure out everything. You know, figure out who the quarterback's going to be, how you're going to fix this thing moving forward. You've got 7 games remaining, or 7 games left. You need to put Glennon back in. What are you doing? What are we doing here? If he's the quarterback of the future, like you say, then he needs to take these lumps and get better as a quarterback. Not this whole yo-yo back in and out, back and forth thing. Put Glennon in, let him play, let him learn, and let him take his lumps. And that's going to do it for the NFC South. Lord help us all. Somebody's got to win this division. Hopefully somebody does it with a Coke and a smile and a winning record. We'll see if they're able to do that, as this midpoint of the season sees this as the worst division in all of football. That's going to do it for me when it's all said and done. I think the Saints are going to win this hapless division, but we shall see. A lot of football left to play in the National Football League. See you next week.